So, we're here on the eve of Raves of Longton 3. I'm here with Pete Bromley.
Hello.
I'm here with Daz Willott.
Hello, people.
And we're really excited and just come to give a little bit of a chat about what's going to be happening on Saturday the 6th of July at Raves of Longton 3. First off, Daz, did you enjoy last year?
I did, and I didn't.
Okay.
The reason I didn't is because I had to leave early.
You did.
But I enjoyed playing some, really early stuff. Took me out of my comfort zone, and I enjoyed it. Playing some early shallies, some Hacienda tracks as well. So
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I mean it's good for me because I didn't get to play that stuff out.
Fair.
Yeah.
Should we give you a platform to play some of your favourites?
Or a platform to stand on.
Yeah. Like the old like introspective DJ box.
Oh, I know, that was mad. Good job I weren't jumping about then.
What memories did you have from last year, Pete?
It's just good to get everybody back together again. The sort of the old crew. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So obviously when you turn up and Mark and Nicky are there and yourself, it's just nice to have everybody back together. It's the once a year thing for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of thing, like it's our annual outing for us.
The thing is,
playing
the
music.
We were just saying as well, because I mean, we did go back. Sort of what? It's 30 years plus, isn't it?
We're near a 40.
But I mean, we just don't know what's around the corner. When we've lost people on the way, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have lost their friends, and and so these are really important, aren't they? These events, really.
I think one that brought it sort of home for a lot of us recently is obviously Justin Carr.
I know. Yes.
God bless.
So big shout out to Marty for listening on that.
Justin was a big part of the scene, and one of them DJs. When I first got into sort of dance music during the introspective times, Justin was one of the residents at Introspective.
Well, he was the person I went record shopping with every Saturday. At that time, we bought records together in back to Wild Style days with you.
It was me Hacienda part.
Yeah, exactly that.
Well, very much it sort of brings it home that none of us know how many of these we've got left in us.
Exactly.
How long any of us got. And I know without it sounding morbid, thankfully, and fingers crossed, we'd like to think we've all got another 50 years left.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I don't know if we've got it.
True.
I'm joking.
But I do know that doing this kind of thing is getting more difficult.
For us as well, because with us going back, I mean, I only live down the road and I don't see as much as should. I know we phone each other, but it's not the same, is it? So, it'd be good to get together.
Just circumstances and health and there's a lot going on at the moment, isn't there, for everyone? Like that. As you get older, more responsibility again.
So obviously these annual gigs are difficult. I know a lot of people are on holiday in the summer, or they're at festivals, or school holidays. It's a difficult time for a lot of people, but equally summer is the best time to do an outdoor event. And I'd like to think that we can all sort of make the efforts and come together for these, because these gigs aren't, if you like, I know a lot of event promoters and DJs very much treat what they do as a job and work, but I think I would argue that this event, these Raves of Longton gigs, are the least ones that are light work for us.
It's about fun, music, and that's the main thing. As long as enough people come and support, we can keep doing it.
I get very sentimental about these gigs because we've been through a lot of different club periods and venues over the last sort of 30 odd years, but I can't think of any that sort of make me feel the same as
it's the roots.
Shallies, Entropy, Introspective.
It's the roots.
It's just these gigs mean a lot to me, and as I say, even if we weren't doing this in a venue where we were inviting hundreds of people to come, I'd still want to do something like this if it was just us, kind of thing. These events do mean something. I just want to be able to share this kind
and I think
of vibe.
From what I can gather as well, the feedback I get from you guys out there, I'm sure you feel the same as well. From the feedback I hear, it is good, to to get
hear
that
a lot of
feedback.
people saying this is the favourite event of the year out of all the things we do.
Because we don't get to DJ, do repeat very often.
Once a year,
Yeah.
at the moment. Isn't it?
Yeah, so you know, we just don't know.
I think we're super keen on sort of pushing the authenticity part of it as well. I know, obviously, you know, we all know each other from back then, and you know, we all sort of performed at either Shalley's, Entropy, or Introspective, and obviously you as well at the Kinetic does beyond that. But I think with regards to the events musically, we like them to try and be authentic as well. Play music that was played back then, because I noticed a lot of these retro and old school events, they're playing either new music or new mixes of like old records, and I just don't think it captures the same spirit and, you know,
I'm guilty of that
feeling.
myself, though.
But
I'll force that out of you. For us.
It's only because like it just gives it that different.
It gets very monotonous and repetitive. I get that.
You know, just energises it
But
to a bit.
with these Raves of Longton events, we want them to try and be as authentic as possible.
Exactly.
You want
Within reason.
like putting one of your old tapes back in, that's the
but
thing.
We're doing digitally, so you know, it's not like we're playing records, so it's not that authentic. However, musically, and if you like, the sort of vibes we give out on the night, certainly trying to go back down.
I want you to feel that way. You've got an old cassette, you put it in, and it's the same sort of feel, same types of mixing records done in a similar way.
That's what I enjoyed last year. The fact I could play, you know, some of the really early stuff, like, you know, that's what I enjoyed, to play some of that, because I don't get to play it often, you know, which I really enjoyed.
That's my vibe.
Great to hear that. I mean, obviously, we've not mentioned Mark Arch from Alternate, who's obviously playing on the event. I think Mark's playing one of the earlier slots, so Mark again plays a lot of sort of end of the night, late slots, where he plays a lot of the sort of breakbeat rave stuff that you know, he's famous for. But playing it sort of earlier will allow him a little bit more musical freedom, where he'll get to play a lot of the stuff that he's really passionate about. So I think a lot of people forget that Mark was an early techno pioneer in the UK, and musically he's
he's the same timeline as me and Daz. That's the same.
Musically, I think Mark Archer is a massively underrated DJ.
Big time.
And that was because I think back in the 90s, he was alternating.
Being an artist, he was shadows the DJ.
And really, I think, given that time again, I think, you know, if Mark, future Mark could have a word with past Mark, they'd have said, yeah, PA's great, but focus on your DJing, because he is a brilliant DJ, Mark Archer is. But as I say, just didn't necessarily have the opportunity to DJ as much back then, because he was an artist, as you say.
Well, last year we ended up doing the impromptu back-to-back.
That's right.
And that just happened on the day. It wasn't planned. Yeah. And it worked super well.
Yeah. Well, now with a pair of you, as I say, like proper DJs, the real thing. Whereas I like to think as what me and Daz are about are a little bit different to what you and Mark offer on the night.
The after party.
Well, obviously, you know,
this time.
I think for a lot of people, and you listen to them recordings and cassettes from the time, particularly from Entropy and Shalley's, that was really, you know, sort of, Daz was the star. Daz was the king of Stoke-on-Trent. I know it sounds funny, but back then in the early 90s, you know, obviously, when the Shalley's and Entropy were in full swing, you were up at the Freetown then, so, like, you know,
it went a bit of a Y-shape, the scene did at that time.
Well, there'll be a lot of people there really looking forward to
There was a lot of
fragmenting,
weren't there, as well? You know, you got, like, Kinetic that sort of happened as...
Well, that's where it went that way, and then sort of Golden stuff went that way.
I remember saying to Gavin, I said, if you leave this venue, it'd be the worst mistake you ever do.
Yeah, he also said to me on the night, he says, do we stay or do we go, Lee? And as much as maybe leaving was the wrong decision, I was unhappy at the Leisure Bowl at the time personally. And I just wanted a change at the time. And if you remember, sort of towards the end of Entropy and Shalley's, me and Chris had sort of swapped. I'd started doing a little bit with the guests, and Chris was doing a bit more with you at the time.
So that was a little bit down to me, though, wasn't it? Because I wanted to switch it up a bit. You know, just give me a little bit of a chance, like, you know, because I knew you'd found your feet there, Lee, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Looking back, you know, I wouldn't change anything. Like, you know, it was you know, exciting times all round, even though a little different. But I was enjoying it less at the time, and I think we all were, to be fair. I think it got to a point where it had taken it to where it could have gone, because there was new things happening, wasn't there? I mean, ultimately though, you know, everyone was still having a brilliant time, but it wasn't our decision really. It was a case of the Leisure Bowl couldn't come to an agreement with Entropy You know, if they'd have come to an agreement, Entropy would have stayed. Long story short, the Leslie wanted more money.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and Gavin didn't want to do that. But Gavin had the option of going to Shalley's. But you got to bear in mind, as much as Entropy was brilliant, Shalley's had an incredible reputation, and there was no reason for Gavin to think that what Entropy was doing couldn't work at Shalley's. But I think that Friday night that Entropy had made its own, I don't think Gavin factored in someone coming and stepping into the shoes of what we left there on Fridays. And that although we
didn't think there was anything around the corner, did he? He didn't, you know.
And obviously the Kinetic guys turned up from Telford Way, was it? And, you know, they had they were there for a good few years, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, they sort of catered for the up and coming, didn't they? The new, you know, the new breed, kind of thing.
And musically, it sort of end of '92, it was changing massively anyway. And
that's what I mean. It was changing, you know. That's why I think Entropy kind of took it to where it was going, and then it was either we started play the hardcore, you know, the breakbeaty stuff like Kinetic to cater. You know,
I see Kinetic more happy hardcore that goes to that, and that changed things.
It wasn't really my thing either.
Breakbeat that was going into what you'd call jungle, drum and bass.
All the vocals sped up.
Entropy was a big part of that, and that was like, if you like, the mainstay of the main guest sets. And a lot of your sets before, obviously, you played the more sort of uplifting, like, you know, party records towards the end. But as Peach just said, I think Kinetic was more sort of. It was getting more faster 4/4, happy
which
hardcore.
Was the new scene in the young kids at the time.
It was speeding up once it
that wasn't my vibe at all, and certainly I know it wasn't.
No, it was hard for me to sort of go down that road. When I did Kinetic a few times, I found it difficult because I still wanted to connect with the piano uplifting. So I played like the piano break stuff, which suited me. But it was just you know, things moved, don't they? And moved.
What's mad
forward.
is obviously we did it every week. 52 weeks, 52 Saturdays.
Well, we do events like maybe monthly or every 3 weeks or whatever, and then people forget that it was every single weekend. But not only for a while, for a couple of years, particularly with Daz, Friday night every single weekend, Saturday night every single weekend, at venues that were literally a stone's throw.
Signal Radio sometimes, going down there.
But then equally, you'd have gigs all night, as like the Eclipse in Coventry after, you know, you just Shalley's, you'd leave there. But in the same Fridays as well.
Yeah, true. Well, it was the New Dawn, wasn't it? Meeting of the Minds, Limit.
Some of them,
We used to go them, Lee. We used to drive up to them.
Rock World as well,
That's what, Rock World. And then it'd be Saturday night Shalley's, and then probably Eclipse afterwards.
And then, or maybe Greg's down in Evesham.
Yes. I mean, that was a drive and half.
Yeah, they were good, though. They were good.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's good catching up and, like, talking about things like, you know, and going back to the roots.
Yeah, no, definitely. But as I say,
that's what makes these nights special, because it's memories for us, isn't it?
Yeah, well, fundamentally, this is what I'm trying to get across is, you know, whether we are doing this for, you know, a few hundred people on a car park in Longton, or we're doing it round on a Thursday night at Pete's house and it's just us three, we'd still be doing
Sounds good. Hopefully, the whole thing's off, we're doing it at my house.
And hopefully it reflects as well, like, you know, the personality and how we feel about it. It reflects on the night, and that's, I think, where the magic happens.
Just feels natural when all four of us get together.
Yeah. We don't see as much as Mark anymore, because Mark isn't local anymore, but I know, obviously, you know, the feelings are still strong there, and I've got a lot of time and respect for Mark. A big part of what I did with my recording career.
It just made me giggle. Do you remember it? Where is it when we were up in the Burslem Town Hall?
And I'll tell you this the other day.
No.
So I kicked the plug while they were doing a live PA on accident, and you got the blame.
I did get the blame for a few years about that.
Sorry about that, the other day.
Yeah.
Town Hall gig.
Yeah, you really fell out with me, Mark did, about that, you know. I really, And
is it confession time now?
Yes, confession time.
Sorry, it was Lee all on, but he blamed Daz.
Yeah, it went on for years as well. If you're watching this, Mark.
Daz is still guilty for all the stuff.
Yeah, it was. It kept going off, didn't it? The MIDI player.
The DAT player.
DAT player, that's it. So it was you, wasn't it, Lee?
Yeah, not on purpose, though. Well, I wasn't going to take the blame.
I just thought it was the stage bouncing.
Put my head down and walked
off.
No way.
To confess.
Have you got any more confessions, Colin?
But yeah, no, just obviously want to, you know, sort of let you know how excited we're all about this, and hopefully you can join us on Saturday the 6th of July at Raves of Longton 3.
And the weather should be looking good as well.
Summer's suddenly come in the last 2 days.
Yeah,
Everybody's been desperate for this, and it's just started to happen.
I know, it's about time.
So if any of you are still listening to this after a quarter of an hour, we shall see you in a couple of weeks' time.
And there's paper tickets I've seen today.
We just printed the paper tickets, which are available from me at Global Groove, cash only, and Brett and Tracy are also doing them from Willott area for pick up and drop off locally.
And they've just been in, haven't they? And picked up.
Yeah,
Got
and they're excited as well.
They've already got people coming up to them, you know, wanting them the nostalgia on there, isn't it?
Well, you get your ticket stub to keep them framed, stuff like that, like the old days. But there's only 100 of them, so if you want them, you've got to...
We should have signed a few while we were here.
Yeah.
Well, that devalued them.
From my writing.
We'll see you all in 2 weeks'
Okay,
time.
guys.
Yeah, see you later, guys.
See
Make
ya.
sure you're there. See you on the dance floor.